I'm trying an experiment here. My partner is giving me direction. I really appreciate that. I'm Jenny. I'm a caregiver, and this is The Angry Caregiver. I've been feeling this growing fury every time I see a 10-item listicle giving instructions to caregivers on how they can take better care of themselves. And I'm here to say that caregiver resilience is not the problem. If we were to study what caregivers are doing every single day to look after their care recipients, unpaid, they are showing extraordinary resilience. What we have is a structural issue. We have a system that is neglecting the care and the health and well-being of caregivers. And the same system is relying on those same caregivers to take care of their care recipients so that their care recipients are removed from the budget line items of the healthcare system. And that is a gross negligence of care on the part of our governing bodies and the institutions that are meant to be taking care of us. I'm reading you something that I wrote this morning in response to an article. The article is called When Resilience is Part of the Problem. This is Brianna Suslovic of the University of Chicago. And the quote I pulled was, "The experiences of disability and caregiving are both areas in which prioritizing resilience is a misguided impulse. It amounts to trying to fix people who are most vulnerable to ongoing oppression and bias." So I'm relating this to the experience of being a family caregiver of a frail elder. Resilient Caregivers, 2023-03-28. When we study the actual time and motion involved in family caregiving, I'm sure we will find extraordinary caregiver resilience in the face of impossible circumstances. This is why I find it infuriating when exhausted caregivers are told to take care of yourself first. The problem with this instruction is that there is a hierarchy of priority for family caregivers. It's impossible to leave our care recipient in difficulty and expect to get the benefit of relaxing and recharging our overtaxed resources. When our care recipient is secure and comfortable, we can pursue our own self-care, knowing that our care recipient isn't suffering. We manage our family caregiver operations in accordance with our own triage protocols. We're delivering healthcare, even if we're not governed by the same policies and protocols that ensure the safety and security of care recipients in an institutional setting. Family caregivers are providing healthcare infrastructure and services without adequate health system support. Family caregiver resilience needs to be measured in health outcomes for care recipients and caregivers. Until we have a systemic response to address the inequity of unpaid family caregiving infrastructure, we're going to have a burgeoning health crisis with both care recipients and caregivers requiring emergency or unplanned health interventions. Louise Kinross quotes Brianna Suslovic from the University of Chicago in her recent article titled, "When Resilience is Part of the Problem." The experiences of disability and caregiving are both areas in which prioritizing resilience is a misguided impulse. It amounts to trying to fix people who are most vulnerable to ongoing oppression and bias. Caregiver resilience is not the problem. Systemic negligence and the devaluing of care in our society is the problem. There are problems that we can fix when we have the social and political will to change the system. These are problems that we can fix. These are socially and politically constructed problems. In closing, We need to frame the deficits in the healthcare system and neglect of family caregiving infrastructure as a social injustice issue and ensure equitable distribution of resources where they're needed and where they're doing the most good. We need to stop normalizing the structurally induced suffering of family caregivers. We need to focus on social change to prevent health disparities rather than blaming caregivers for their inability to, quote, take care of yourself, unquote. There's a link below to my writing on this topic with citations. Please hit the like button, and thanks for your support.